Intelligence is not what you think it is. Most people believe it is a matter of speed, a flash of confidence, or always having the right answer at the exact right moment. They imagine a person who speaks the loudest and moves the fastest. But psychology reveals a much darker, more quiet reality. Highly intelligent people do not act smarter. They process reality through a completely different internal architecture. Their minds work quietly, internally, and often entirely invisibly. What looks like hesitation to the world is often a complex calculation happening beneath the surface. Here are 8 things highly intelligent people do differently. These are not mere habits they have picked up. These are the psychological defaults of their existence. 1. They delay judgment instead of reacting. When an event occurs, the average mind rushes to label it instantly. It is either good or bad, right or wrong, a victory or a disaster. The brain craves the dopamine of a quick conclusion. But the highly intelligent mind is a ghost in this process. They pause. Their brain automatically creates a vacuum where a reaction should be. They ask themselves what information is missing. They look for the shadows in the story. Psychology links this to higher cognitive inhibition, which is the literal biological ability to suppress emotional impulses long enough to let the analytical mind breathe. This makes them slower to speak, but far sharper in their conclusions. They do not react to the world. They audit it. 2. They think in probabilities, never in certainty. Average minds are terrified of the unknown, so they cling to the illusion of a sure thing. They want a yes or a no, but a high IQ mind is comfortable living in the gray. They do not see the future as a single path. They see it as a shifting map of likelihoods. They do not say, "This will work." They say, "This has a 60% chance of success, provided these specific variables remain stable." This probabilistic thinking is a core trait of advanced reasoning. It explains why intelligent people often sound cautious or even pessimistic when everyone else is shouting with confidence. They aren't being negative. They are simply the only ones in the room who see the cliff's edge before the car reaches it. 3. They question their own thoughts. Most people trust their internal voice by default. If they think a thought, they assume it is an absolute truth. Highly intelligent people do not. They treat their own thoughts like suspects in a criminal lineup. They are constantly interrogating their own logic, asking, "Is this actually true? Or is this just how I feel right now because I am tired or hungry?" Psychologists call this metacognition. It is the act of thinking about thinking. This is the reason intelligent people change their minds more often than others. They are not being flip-flopped. They are evolving. Their ego is secondary to the truth, which makes them appear less emotionally rigid and more intellectually fluid. 4. They separate emotion from information. They are not robots. They still feel the sting of betrayal, the heat of anger, and the weight of grief just as deeply as anyone else. However, they have built a psychological wall between the feeling and the data. They can feel deeply hurt without becoming defensive. They can feel intense rage without letting it drive their actions. This mental separation is a hallmark of high-level emotional control. They do not suppress their emotions. They observe them. They treat their feelings as a signal to be decoded, not a command to be obeyed. This allows them to stay rational in environments where everyone else is spiraling into emotional chaos. 5. They see patterns where others see isolated events. Most people experience life as a series of random, disconnected moments. They see a single failure or a single success and move on. But a high IQ mind is a machine for pattern recognition. They notice the subtle, repeated behaviors in a person's past. They see the hidden motives behind a corporate shift. They connect dots across years, not minutes. This is a core component of human intelligence. This is why intelligent people often predict outcomes that others never see coming. They aren't psychic. They simply saw the pattern starting 6 months ago while everyone else was looking at the surface. They see the forest while the rest of the world is arguing over a single leaf. 6. They are comfortable with being misunderstood. Early in their lives, highly intelligent people realize a painful truth. Explaining the depth of their reasoning to everyone is an exhausting waste of vital energy. So they stop. They stop trying to sound smart. They stop trying to convince the crowd. They stop fighting for validation. Psychologically, this reflects a very low dependency on external approval. They do not need a room full of people to agree with them to trust their own thinking. They are content to let people believe they are wrong, or quiet, or even slow, or they understand that truth is not a democracy. Their silence isn't a lack of ideas. It is the realization that not everyone is equipped to hear them. 7. They update their identity based on new evidence. Most people spend their entire lives defending the version of themselves they built in their youth. They protect their beliefs like a fortress. But the intelligent mind is more like a fluid. If new information proves a core belief wrong, they don't feel attacked. They feel informed. They do not view being wrong as a failure. They view it as an upgrade. Psychology links this to cognitive openness, which is one of the strongest predictors of long-term intellectual growth. Their ego is flexible. They would rather be corrected and move closer to the truth than be right and remain in a lie. 8. They think in years while others think in moods. Highly intelligent people naturally zoom out. While the rest of the world is obsessed with the now, the current trend, the current anger, the immediate comfort, the intelligent mind is calculating the next 10 years. They think in systems, not single moments. They consider the consequences of the consequences. This long-range thinking often makes them seem hesitant or out of touch with the present. But it is why their decisions age with grace. They are playing a game that is much longer than the one everyone else is focused on. They are building for a future that others haven't even realized is coming yet. High intelligence is not about being impressive in public. It is not about winning debates or having the fastest wit. It is about how quietly your mind works when no one is watching. It is the heavy, silent process of constant internal refinement. If this video felt uncomfortably accurate, it is because intelligence often goes unnoticed, even by the person who carries it. You are not loud. You are deep. You are not slow. You are calculating. Tell me in the comments, which of these mental defaults do you recognize in the silence of your own mind?